Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 71 of Two Amazon Sellers and a Microphone, brought to you by Solozo. Today, Chris and I are joined by Paul Barron from the Chat Agency. Paul, how are you doing?
I am great. Like I said, kind of prior to this, I'm just coming off the tail end of some tummy troubles, the stomach flu. I don't know what it was, but I'm glad today isn't yesterday, because yesterday I was not feeling super great.
That's the worst.
Yeah, those are not fun.
That is the worst feeling, but
So
I'm glad you're feeling better.
Same. Other than that, I'm great. Yeah.
Well, we're really glad to talk to you. I know you're going to bring a lot of good tips and tactics to everyone who's listening in, because this is something we haven't talked about. Just basically the use of chatbots and how you can the different way to reach your customers and get them engaged. And so we're really excited to just dive in and talk all about this. I know Chris, he's been using ManyChat for a while. He's got some strategies he uses. I haven't yet. It's something that I'm totally should be doing. So I'm really excited to hear everything that you have to say about this. But before we jump in, Paul, just let everyone know a little bit about you. How'd you get started in the Amazon space to begin with?
Yep. So I have a background in digital marketing prior to even doing anything on Amazon. And starting in 2008, I was working for myself mostly. Actually for myself. I had always tried to start businesses when I was younger. I never knew what I was doing. I still feel like I don't, to some degree. It's just I've learned a lot from all of the prior mistakes, so I make less of those. I just make new mistakes, and then I learn from those, and then I hopefully don't make those again in the future. But so I started working at a digital marketing agency in 2010. It was the same year that I actually got married, so it makes remembering things easy, because I'm terrible with dates and times. I just need to think, okay, when did I get married? 2010. That's when I started. I think 2 years later, I was let go from that agency, and I was fired. At the time, I was employee number 12, and I had set up all these key partnerships with this agency. We went from getting about 5 leads a week to about 25 a day within my first 3 months there. And that's really kind of my natural, what I'm really good at naturally, is just networking and connecting with people and figuring out who does what and why they do it. And, maybe we can't do business together, but I always keep people in my back pocket, as it were, because like if I think, well, for example, so we had connected more on Clubhouse. That was how we had initially sort of connected. And then off Clubhouse, I'm actually in Rich Goldstein's room right now. He asked me to be in, but I told him, I was like, I can be in, but I can't talk. Yeah. It's weird, because part of the algorithm is like the more people you have with good followings, the bigger it gets your room out there. But like one of the people in his room, Monica, connected her with a friend of mine. She's a producer. Monica's a producer. One of my friends is a writer. And I was like, hey, maybe you guys can work together. So that's always been my background. Starting in 2015. So let's fast forward. I was let go from this agency in 2012. I was really earning a ton of money there. I was just hating my life and just not. I just wasn't accomplishing my life's purpose. Really kind of feel like dying inside every time I went to work. And the next 2 years between 2012 to 14 was really rough for me, because I was trying to figure out exactly who I was as a person. When I was younger, I actually wanted to be a pastor. I went to school. I went to Bible college and was studying to plant churches and help people in different countries learn how to feed themselves, really. And so like businesses had always been a part of it. Like I said, I was always starting these businesses when I was younger. I didn't know I would call them businesses, but it were just hobbies, and I made some money. In 2014, 2014, I had just started a web development marketing agency. 2015 comes around, and I'm about a year into this agency, and I see some ads. Actually, my friend sends me about the Amazing Selling Machine course, which is one of the very first courses that there ever were about learning how to sell on Amazon. And earlier in the year in 2014, we had started taking our son swimming, and started realizing as new parents, there's all these things that you don't know, like you have to have a swim diaper and all this stuff. And so that was stuck in our head. started our product research in 2015 and found out that's how we actually landed on our brand, Bow and Bell Littles, which we quickly become in the coming on 6 years now that we've been in business. We made a name for ourselves as the best brand in reusable swim diapers in the industry, which is huge. But leading up to 2021, my background is always in, like, if I can't learn how to do it, I'm going to hire somebody. If I can't hire someone to learn how to do it myself. And I'm always looking at all these new technologies and new things that are on the market. So when our second year in business, 2016, Chatbots had just come out. Or it wasn't Chatbots, it was actually the API was opened up for Messenger chat. So I started playing around with it a little bit in 2016. And then in 2017, I had this wild idea in like the middle of the night, and I figured I'm going to try doing this contest to see if we can get some signups. Totally broke all the rules on Facebook. Didn't realize what I was doing, but I got 1,500 signups in 3 days, and we spent like $150 in ads, and I was giving away 2 $75 gift cards. So $150 in gift cards, $150 in ad spend, so $300 total. And we got 1,500 signups, and it blew my mind. And now all the registrants, all the opt-ins were not good because it was just a straight giveaway, an Amazon gift card. But what it did for me was it just showed me at the time that this is like crazy powerful. And that was when I started diving like headfirst into chatbots, into learning how to leverage this for our business. Because at the time, prior to this, I was really skeptical because I was like, it seems kind of spammy. Like, who would want to connect with a business on Messenger? Like, that's kind of annoying, right? Like, you don't want to get those messages all the time. But now it's 27. So 4 years later. So you can't do math. Like I said, dates. I can do math. Dates and times as they relate to functions of reality, not going to happen. But like
they all blend together.
Yeah. So anyway, so like I started Messenger Bot University in 2018, which had transitioned into Chat Marketing University. That's my fun little mic thingy. For those of you that are listening, I have a little. It's called a mic flag that has CMU, my logo for Chat Marketing University. Rebranded to that in 2019, and in 2020, due to response from basically all of my students, and anytime I would do a speaking engagement or podcast or whatever, the number one request would always be for people to hire me directly. And my standard response was always, you can't, because I'm too busy and I don't want to start an agency, and so take my course. But I quickly started seeing that the majority of the people going through my course started to it switched from sellers to agencies. And so I just saw that there's just this big hole in the market. Plus, a lot of my students still kept asking to hire me, and they didn't want to go to somebody else. So I was like, all right, fine, I'll do it. And that's how the chat agency started. But I didn't really tell you much about selling on Amazon other than we did it. It's amazing. We built a really solid brand. You can Google us. Feel free to creep our Shopify. If you creep our Amazon page, add our product to your cart, because I don't want our conversions to go down.
I love it. Probably honesty.
I mean, probably buy it if you know somebody. Please buy it, actually, because I'm becoming more public about what we sell, and I've noticed that our conversion rate is going going down a little bit. Anytime I do a big podcast or something, I see an influx of traffic.
That's so interesting. That's the first. You normally hear people say, "Oh, I don't want to tell." Everyone's always so cagey about what they sell because they're worried about people copying them and all kinds of stuff. And that's the first time I've heard about the conversion rate concern, because it's true. If a bunch of people go look you up, and then it'll mess up the conversion rates. That's.
I mean, yeah. That's if you're dedicated, it would take you 5 or 10 minutes to really figure it out. If I didn't tell you, so I figured it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Exactly. They're gonna find it anyway.
Yeah.
And so let's back up to when you first started. So you started selling. You were selling on Amazon. You heard about ManyChat, and there's other chatbots, there's other tools out there. How were you using those in your business?
When we started, it was just all experimentation. Obviously, I mean, it's 2017. I was using a tool. It was called Message Hero, and I switched over to ManyChat within a year because it's just way better, to be honest. Jeremy is a friend of mine. He's co-founder of Message Hero. I mean, no offense, Jeremy, but ManyChat's better. So I switched to ManyChat. And when we started, it was just opt-ins. I was just trying to build a list. And then I started thinking, okay, well, I mean, I can use this for review generation. That was where my immediate thought went, because I think it was 2016 that the first review apocalypse happened, when prior to this, you could give away products for free, right? You could say, just disclose that you got it for free, and it's an honest, unbiased review. But here's the thing, like, everybody knows that that's not really honest or unbiased if you get something for free, because you got it for free. So that went the way of the dodo. And I was thinking through, how can we, within terms of service, connect with our customers, add value, and kind of re-engage them while getting reviews. And so I put together a system called the Reviews and Autopilot system, which is now kind of ubiquitous to getting reviews in the Amazon space. In fact, Seller Tools just released a whole template based on this. Didn't give me credit, which is fine, because I don't think that most people realize that I was the one who pioneered it. But it's basically the concept of, let's say that you sell this. It's Expo Whiteboard Care. I can't remember how much it was, but maybe let's say this is $50. Okay. And then you have a dry erase cleaner. Let's say this is like costs you 10 cents, and maybe this costs you $10. The concept is that these two products go hand in hand, right? So if I was selling Expo Whiteboard Care and it was a high ticket item or higher priced, what I would do is I would retarget all the purchasers of the Expo Whiteboard Care with an ad on Facebook saying, get your free whiteboard cleaner. And basically the process would be that I'm exporting my users from Amazon, creating a custom match audience on Facebook, running an ad saying, get your free whiteboard cleaner, or maybe markers or something. I don't know. Maybe these are cheaper. I don't know. I don't sell these. I don't know what the costs on them are. But the concept is that it's a low cost, high value loss leader, right? So this is a good value for people. A lot of times people, like, I actually bought two. I completely forgot that I had this one, but I bought another one. And so it's one of those things that, like, people would use, right? If they have a whiteboard or a blackboard or whatever it is, if they're cleaning it, then they're in market for that. So that's essentially the concept, is you target people that have purchased one product with an offer for a free something. And the key is you give it away to everybody, right? You don't ask for a review until the very end, after they've received this product. And you're not asking for a review on this, obviously, right? It's a free product that you're shipping. You're asking for feedback. You're asking for what their experience has been with this. And that's the key. You ask for experience and feedback. You don't say review. When they give you their experience or the feedback, you say, that's, fantastic. You tell your story, your brand, and then you ask if they'd be willing to leave that as a review on Amazon. And when we first pioneered that in 2017, we were getting 80% review rate out of the people that were going through the funnel. We were getting like 200 people go through it, so that would be 160 people would leave a review, which is huge. And that was then, I taught that with Amazing again. So ASM, amazing.com. We did that as a paid webinar, a premium webinar for them. And we had 1,000 people take it, which is insane. It was huge. And we were having 100 people per week buy the replay until Amazon asked us to stop, because the copywriter didn't change something that we asked them to. On the landing page, we were saying, get verified reviews on autopilot. That was what we wanted it to say. The copywriter had initially said, get positive verified reviews on autopilot. And that was the key. You are not allowed to solicit just positive reviews, which we don't. Mm-hmm. So Amazon listens to me. They go into my rooms. In fact, I'd love to talk to Amazon corporate and see how we could work together better to get these systems solved. Because if they follow me, they would know, like anybody does, that I am as above board as I can possibly be. Mm-hmm. I don't let people speak in my clubhouse rooms that give shady advice. I've had people come in a couple times that one time is enough. If somebody comes on my stage and they give people bad advice, I don't let them speak again, because I understand that when people are listening, they may not understand. They may not be in the position that I am with 6 years of experience. They may be, 3 months in, and they hear some bullshit advice that's just straight. Sorry, you don't. Anyway,
Totally fine.
They hear bad advice that could potentially like really get them in trouble, both with losing their account and potentially legally, because it's against the law to solicit only 5-star reviews. It's actually federally against the law. So I know for sure in California. I'm not sure on the. I'm pretty sure it is federally as well, but I know for sure bare minimum in California, a couple other states, they pass laws, so you're not allowed to do that. So anyway, that was how we started. Then we started looking at, okay, how can we launch products using these tools? How can we do all these things? And really it always comes down to the same thing in my head, which is audience building. Because in my head, I'm building a brand, and not just in my head, I am building a brand. We've built a brand. We've had Pottery Barn Kids buyer email us asking to carry our products in their store. We didn't have to reach out to them. We had Michael Phelps' agent reach out to us asking to partner with us. We didn't reach out to them. And this tells me, okay, we're making a buzz. We're making a splash in the swim diaper industry, as it were. And that shows me that the efforts that I've done, that I'm doing, are paying off, which is another reason why I don't necessarily care to show people what we do, because sweetheart, you can try to compete with us, but I will guarantee you that I will crush you, and you will wish that you had never tried to compete with me, because I will annihilate you in a friendly way. And then I'll show you how I did it. And then I'll say, this is what you do in a different product line. Just don't compete against us.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. We had another guy on, Mina. I'm sure you know who Mina is.
I love Mina.
Yeah. He's all energy, but
gosh.
He's very open. He's open about what he sells, and he's like, come on aboard. You want to come challenge me? I challenge you. Come on and see it. So I love it.
It's funny because his brand is called MMA, and so he's all about fighting anyway. So he's like, yeah, let's fight.
That's true. Yeah, he is a fighter. That is exactly right.
Yeah, he's a beast. That's a good story. That's good stuff. So that a lot of the things that you've done, I'm guilty of doing, like the post on Facebook and saying tag a friend and let's get all these people in here and let's build this up. And then I would broadcast them all at one time without even just shooting a message. So it's changed a lot now, where I've tried to get back in there. I'm trying to learn it again. And it's just so much different. You have to have tags for different content, and you can't blast like you used to in years ago. So it's come to the point where if I ever want to do something, I have to have somebody else figure it out, because I'm going to get my account spinned if I do it the same way I used to do. It's just totally different. Yeah,
it's insane that it's funny because that was the first course that I decided to start selling too, which is it's extremely technical, and it changes literally sometimes day to day. I mean, when I was regular, I haven't recorded content regularly for it in a while, and I need to, but I mean, I'd go through a whole week of recording content, and then there'd be like 2 things that I'd need to re-record within a week because something changed in the interim. And it's just insane. Like the tagging stuff, the broadcasting things. If you guys aren't in the ManyChat world, don't worry about all that for now. Just know that it's a great tool, and that there's good people that you can learn from, and you could still use it. It's just not as pliable as it used to be. Yeah. It used to be very easy, just simple things. And now there's different flows you can build. You can get all types of little reactions, like QR codes on insert. What would you give, like, for a seller out there? Basic flow, basic concept. I got a new product. What would I do? How can I use ManyChat to my advantage on a basic level? So basic level is you need to look at all low-hanging fruit in general. Again, so I think through strategy, then I think tactics. Strategy is what you want to go. Tactic is how you're going to get there. And I think that in the Amazon space, there's a lot of tactics on like how to rank. Like, how do you rank? How do you get reviews? Now that's good to know how, but you need to know why. Why do you want to rank? Why? What's the goal, right? So I want to rank because X, Y, and Z. Obviously I want to make money, right? But that's what I think through in terms of strategy and tactics. So strategically, you should be building a brand. Okay. That is where Amazon is headed. In 2021, they started a shift in 2019, and we're seeing it really was kind of delayed a little bit because of COVID. They had infrastructure issues, but we're really seeing this big push with Amazon pushing to get brands, micro brands, more exposure. because they realize that micro brands are bringing their audience. They're also getting the Amazon audience, but it's a better partnership for Amazon. Whereas let's just find I'm going to sell my whiteboard cleaner with a coffee mug, with a fork, and then maybe some playing cards or something, right? Like none of those things are related. You can't tie a brand story other than you just want to make money. And here's the thing: if that's what you're doing, that's a great way to cash flow. But if you're trying to connect with people and you're trying to build a brand that's worth anything that you can sell, sweetheart, that's not how you do it. Like nobody's going to buy that. You're running a race. It's going to be a hamster treadmill that you're going to get tired and eventually you'll fall off. And really it's a race to the bottom, because the only thing that you have to compete when you don't have a brand is price. What you have to compete on when you have a brand is other factors, such as what's your unique selling proposition for Expo, for example. Let's say that maybe I wanted to create a more environmentally friendly version of this that wouldn't harm. I don't know if this is environmentally friendly. I'm just saying it smells like it's not, but that's my point, right? So before I go into tactics, I always think strategy. So strategically, your inserts or your packaging, your everything about your brand should drive people to want to connect with you, to engage with you further outside of whatever sales channel they bought from you on. It doesn't matter if it's Amazon, your website, your retail store. You should be leveraging your packaging and your inserts to build your audience, because your audience is where the money is at. According to the Harvard School of Business, it is 5 times more expensive to acquire a customer than to sell to the same customer again. Now, Amazon sellers generally don't see a lot of that, because the Amazon customers are Amazon customers. Amazon is acquiring those customers. Amazon's paying the money. But that's why Amazon's shifting, because they're seeing that brands that pay to build their own brands, they're bringing new customers to Amazon. They're adding stickiness. So with an insert, a very simple flow that you could do would be just register your product for a warranty. Now, again, my whiteboard cleaner here, I wouldn't register this for a warranty. Like, it came cracked at the top anyway, but it still works. When it's gone, it's gone. Now, right. I might register this for a free eraser, or I might register it for a whole bunch of markers or something, or I might register it, or I might do this. Like, this would actually be a great flow: get unsubscribe and save, and then get a free gift. Like, that would be a great flow for this. So add it to subscribe and save, and then you get a free gift. So that's always what I think is how can I accomplish more than one goal? The first goal is always building an audience. The second goal could be getting a review. It could be upselling more products. It could be cross-selling products. It could be driving people into our Nano Influencer, into our Nano Influencer tribes. But a very simple flow would be just that. You have a QR code or a ref URL, and a ref URL is just a URL that redirects to Messenger. You set these up inside ManyChat. And that basically would then open up, and it would walk you through a really simple process. And it's like a 5-step process, which is: what's your name, what's your email, what's your phone number, what's your order ID, what's your address. That's it, those 5 things. And those 5 things, and you don't even need to, you can have more, you can have less, but it's really simple. And then once they've registered their purchase, you can offer them, ask them, hey, what's been your experience with the product? That's a review funnel. Or you could ask them, hey, did you know that we have a matching, so in our case, swim diapers, we have a matching top for the bottom that you purchased. We can get that to you for 50% off if you'd like that. Like, that would be another great upsell opportunity. Or you could do the subscribe and save thing. But the point is that it's a simple flow that you can multi-purpose, and you can change the end just based on what you're needing, whatever levers you're needing to pull. And so that's why I want to talk strategy versus tactics, because tactics are very, I want to do this, 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 and this. Strategy is like the overarching why of why you're doing it.
That's fascinating. And I really like that approach as well. And so for a simple flow like that, I mean, if what are you seeing as the percentage of people who actually opt into that?
Like go in?
Yeah.
It depends on the lead magnet. So ours, I know that we've had a couple thousand people go through, and, like in our busy months, we sell I think it was something like, I need to look again. It was like 10 or 15,000 units in June. So it's not a massive percentage, but we're doing a warranty registration on a $17 purchase. So it's not that big of an offer, right? And so this is something that it's funny because if I was consulting myself, I'd be like, you got to test a different offer, bro. Like that's not very, like, you think that people are really going to care about losing $17? And then I would answer myself, no, you're right. They don't. I would do something different. So it all depends. It all depends on the offer. And that's the great thing about referral URLs or QR codes is that you can change the way they're like where they go most of the time. So you can have a QR code that goes, say you want it to go to a landing page. You can switch the landing page to be whatever you want. And you can even have it split test to be this for like 3 ways. And then you see which offer works the best. But it starts when you're talking about like problem solving, like, is it the insert? Is it like, where's the drop off? Do they not see it in the insert? Do they go into the flow and they just don't complete it? Or do they see it, but they just don't care about registering? But it is here's my thing. Like that flow will take you, if you're brand new learning from scratch, it might take you 20 hours to learn and build. Maybe 5 or 10. If you hired us to do it, we get it done in like 45 minutes because we built it, we have like 10,000 hours of building flows, right? So we get it done really quickly. But it's more leads than you're getting if you're not doing it. It's kind of, and it's super low hanging fruit. I mean, you can just put a sticker. Let's say that you've got all your stuff done. You just put a sticker, like text this code to this number, or scan here for a free item or something. I mean, Yeti does that. They like register your purchase for some free stuff. Well, the free stuff they send you are a bunch of stupid stickers that I don't really care about, but I did it because I wanted to see what the free things were.
Something that I got in the mail the other day was a postcard, and it came from a product that I purchased months ago. And it wasn't for that particular product. It was for the brand giving like, hey, this is a free offer. We're coming out with samples, get free samples and just pay shipping. But it was a postcard, and it caught me off guard because I never get, like, somebody sends you a postcard, it's kind of strange, first of all. But then on the postcard was a QR code. And me, sellers are like, let me go down this rabbit hole. Let me see what this does. Very interesting. It took me to their store on Shopify, where I then had to make a purchase. I paid for shipping, and now I've made a purchase on their website. I'm sure there's some little gray hat, black hat things that are going on, but what's the thoughts there? Is that something that can do, or should we kind of stay away from that?
Yeah. So actually that's why I designed the reviews on autopilot to do that, because my buddy was actually doing just that strategy, and he was using it for reviews. And he knew that it's against terms. It is against terms of service to mail people anything. And so he knew that. And I was like, I'm not going to do this because I'm not going to do it. And I also knew that I wanted to teach this, and I wanted to show other people how to do it. So the strategy that I would do is that exact thing. Instead of mailing people, you target them on Facebook. Do the exact same thing. And then it's TOS compliant. Now, Amazon, I've never read anything on Amazon's site that says that we can't target people with Facebook ads. There are some people that say that you can't. I'd like to have those people show me in terms of service where it says that we can't. In my head, we're adding value because it's an ad. They have to click the ad to interact with us. There's a step there. If the ad is garbage, if the offer is bad, then they won't contact us. The other thing that they could do, Chris, is let's see, like this, for example. I save inserts all the time. So
me too. They're great.
Yeah. So this is a really good insert for just explaining more about the product line that they have. Where this insert really fails, though, is they have no call to action. They have no call to action to sign up for anything. It's just, here's our other products. So that would be appropriate if, so for example, we're redesigning our packaging finally. It's been forever. We've never even actually had package. So 6 years, finally. We've just been shipping in polybags. So finally we're having packaging. And we have the calls to action to connect with us in the on the packaging. It's designed to be ripped open so that Amazon knows that it's open, so they're not going to ship out used products. That was an issue with us. It's fitting in the small standard size, which Amazon kept mismeasuring us as large standard size. It's costing us less, and it's bettering our brand exposure. And then we can add in stuff like this where we can have an insert that just talks about our other product line. Then the calls to action would be, register your purchase for a discount, or, register your purchase for this freebie or something along those lines, but that's on the package, right? So that would be when I'm thinking through talking with new sellers or any sellers in general, I always start at the basics. Like, what are you doing now? What's working? What's not working? What have you tried? What haven't you tried? Or what have you tried now? What problem are you trying to solve? Have you stopped trying to solve that problem? Why have you stopped trying to solve that problem? Those sorts of things. And specifically with inserts, I think in general branding, inserts are a part of branding. I just see a lot of people just don't give it the effort that they need to.
Yeah, and we see that when we talk to sellers, their two goals are always, I need to get more reviews and I want to launch more products. And to do that, chatbots are going to be a great tool to do both of those. You can launch new products to this list. You can ask them, hey, which product would you come out with, or what design do you like, or what color do you like? Mm-hmm. You can do stuff like that to keep them engaged, so that when you do launch the product, you're able to do this launch to that audience, and now you got yourself a little bit of a boost when you get that product going on Amazon.
Exactly. I mean, that's one way that we use our brand rep group with our Nano Influencers. I talk about this a ton. Is we rely on them for that sort of product feedback. But then we also go through and we'll do segmentation surveys where they're really in depth, like 40 questions, like really in depth. And we've had 450, 500 people go through a 400 question survey. And they give us details of like what they like about our products, what they don't like about our products, what they like about our competition, who their favorite person to purchase from that isn't us. It's really amazing data that, again, if you don't have a list, you can't ask people. You've got to build a list. You've got to start somewhere. But until you get there, and that's the same thing that you said, every seller that I talk to, they're all concerned about products, launching products and getting reviews. That's great. So am I. But why? Why are you concerned? Are you looking for an exit? Are you just looking to make a bunch of money? What's the deal? Like, why? And also, have you thought about maybe just building an audience and launching to that audience? Have you thought about doing that? Most people haven't. They just think, I'm going to get it on Amazon, start PPC, do a whole bunch of rebates, and hope it sticks. And that's
exactly
kind of like, that's kind of like firing a shotgun in the air and hope that a duck flies over that hits your pellets so you can go home with a duck dinner. It's so dumb.
But I can tell you that's one of the main mistakes I made with my first product is it took off. It was early. It was back when you could launch products super easy on Amazon and do all the things we were talking about, just like ask people for reviews and send them out to the top reviewers on Amazon. You could email them directly and send them out to them. But anyway, I failed in my first product launch, I think, to really connect, build that brand. And then when my product became more commoditized on Amazon, once there became a ton of sellers of it and they're all the same, I had no different differentiator. I was one of, and like you said, then it goes to a price war. And so all of a sudden, I'm selling my product for half of what I used to, and then it's a non-tenable. And so you have to move on. And it's looking back, it would have been nice to have focused a lot on building an audience around that, because that product I could have expanded into a ton of products that were relatable.
Right. And it's those learning experiences that we look back on and we're like, that was so stupid. I wish I would have done something differently. But now you know.
Right. Exactly.
And now you're doing stuff differently. And that's the thing that I'm trying to just impress on new sellers now, to learn from our mistakes so they don't. Because for one, just imagine if every product on Amazon had a unique selling proposition. What does that do to competition? Right? It makes competition easier in my head, because you don't have 25 of the same exact looking thing. And you're like, okay, well, this one has 3,500 reviews and this one has 5,000 reviews. This one has a brown box and this one has a white box. Wait, but this one looks like it has a Chinese seller name. Ooh, that, then you're not, it's like, it makes it easier for the buyer. And really that's all Amazon cares about is the buyer. They don't, they care about you in so much as you connect them to buyers, but that's about it. It's funny that we joke about how terrible Amazon seller support or Walmart seller support is, and we say how great Amazon's is, but then if you talk about Amazon seller support as on its own, it's terrible.
Oh gosh,
Sorry.
forget about that. That's a totally different topic.
I know, complete rabbit trail. Sorry about that.
No, I mean, I hear you. It used to be able to call them. Now it's like you have to go down different paths and stuff. It's ridiculous.
You got to speak Spanish just to get to somebody in North America.
That's true. It's true. Well, I got to. So once somebody's gone through this flow, you've got their information now. How are you reconnecting with them in the future? Is it via the messenger again, or via the email address that you've got, or do you do do you have a strategy behind which way you go there?
So they tell us how they prefer, and sometimes they just want to unsubscribe completely, and that's fine. But we provide options for them to opt in through SMS, through Messenger. Obviously, they're automatically opted in through Messenger, and email. So email, SMS, and Messenger all in the same flow. So that example that I gave you, the 5-step flow where you're getting phone, email, those 2 steps, email and SMS, if you add like a step and a half of just asking them if they would like to receive future communication, that's your consent that you legally need to message them. Now you're gonna want to look up the rules, the laws in your area, consult your attorney or whatever. But just do some Googling and see what the disclaimers are. But then you have 3 points of contact that you can talk to people as they see fit. Now with Messenger, how you do this is you set up a one-time notification request. So inside ManyChat, you can apply for this. It's a beta. It's one click inside Facebook, and a one-time notification request. Like Chris, you said at the very start of this, we used to broadcast and do whatever we want, right? Like it was kind of the Wild West. Like you weren't supposed to, but everybody was doing it. And it just everybody knew that everybody was doing it, right? Mm-hmm. So now how you do that to do it for free is you get a one-time notification request. And so again, you need to present your audience with options that they want to how they want you to communicate with them. It's all about consent. Okay. So with consent, it doesn't matter if it's email, SMS, or Messenger. They've got to give you consent. Now, how they track consent in Messenger is that one-time notification request. If they tap that, it says get notified. You set up a token on the back end, basically. Let's say, hey, Chris, I want to let you know when we have a new product coming out. We'll give you a discount for a sneak peek. Would you want us to let you know? You say yes or no. So you say get notified. That stores a token on your account inside my ManyChat account, which is then I can redeem that to Facebook. And now the cool thing about that, it says one time, but I can redo that over and over and over and over again. So I can say, so let's say that you said yes. I send you an alert. Hey, Chris, we've got this awesome new eraser that has a built-in sprayer for the whiteboard care. You're going to love it. We're going to give it to you for 40% off today as an insider only. You're like, okay, that's awesome. You buy it. Okay, great, Chris. Hey, we want to let you know about more deals in the future. You got to tap this button. Is that okay? Then you tap it again. So the best thing about this is that you're filtering people based on their propensity to purchase from you, and they're going to say in the future whether or not they might buy. So if they ever say no, then they've self-selected that they don't want to buy from you anymore. So you could either change your messaging and figure out how you could get them back into the fold, or just realize that purchaser is no longer, maybe they've moved out of your demographic or something.
See, that's why you need somebody like Paul, because I had no idea about that one-time notification thing. That's a completely new feature that I didn't even know existed.
Yeah, and it's pretty simple to do. You could just Google. I mean, I have training in the course, and I'm going to be opening up that section for free. I've been saying this for years, so I should probably just do it and make it for free. But the way that I set up our course is that we have, again, being strategy oriented, we have 3 sets of toolkits, beginner, intermediate, and advanced. And all of these toolkits are designed to basically help people understand what the tools are that ManyChat can do. Because I believe that if you understand what a tool does, then you can be creative and figure out how you're going to build something, right? Mm-hmm. So if I were to give you, $50,000 worth of tools, everything you would ever need to build a house, and you just didn't know how they worked, you'd be like, okay, this is worthless to me, right? Because you don't know how to use them. So that's how I've set our course up, is that I figure out, okay, you got to know the tools, because strategically I have a bunch of things that I can show you. Like, these are general rules of thumb for getting reviews, general processes for launching products. But if you know how the tools work, then you can do your own thing, and you don't need to rely on me if you don't want to. Simple fact of the matter is that most people are like, I'm too busy. Can I just pay you?
that's where my mind went. Like, here you go.
Right. And I mean, I get it, because I'm there too. So
that's great. I mean, that's the whole teach somebody to fish instead of giving him a fish is what you're talking about right there. And that's fantastic. And well, in the little bit of time we have left, let's talk about, let's say someone like me who needs to add something this to their business, and I want to work with you. What does that look like? If I work with you to get these flows set up, what does that look like?
Yeah, so you have two routes. Like I said, you have the Chat Marketing University route, which you can learn it yourself. We have weekly or bi-weekly office hours that you can subscribe to. That is like an hour of my time just hanging out and talking chatbots. If you want to do it yourself, or you have an employee that you want to learn, that's a good route. If you'd rather just hire us to do it, you can connect with us at thechatagency.com. So chatmarketinguniversity.com is like the do-it-yourself arm. Thechatagency.com is the done for you service, and we have a ton more that we focus on there too, which I didn't even get. I mentioned Nano Influencers a handful of times, but that's a core. That's kind of one of the core offerings that we do. Is we always start with Nano Influencer base, build out your base, and then move on to ranking and traffic after that. And like in phase two.
Real quick, explain Nano Influencers for someone who doesn't know.
So so everyone by now should be familiar with influencer marketing. If you're not, Google it. And Gary Vee has a boatload of stuff. Like he's been promoting this for a decade now. But a nano influencer is just smaller than micro. So in the term of, what is it? Roman is a Latin. Yeah. Nano, micro, mega, macro, those sorts of things. So there's all these tiers of influencers. There's like nano influencers, then micro influencers, then macro influencers, then mid-tier, then mega, then celebrity. Nano is in the bottom. And basically a nano influencer is really anyone with a social media account. Now, there are people that stylize themselves as nano influencers. In my opinion, people that are considering themselves a nano influencer generally are not worth paying. And this may get me in hot water with some influencers, but here's the thing. If you don't have an audience and you haven't put the time in to build an audience that's engaged, then you don't have anything to buy. What you need to do, and so what we do is we work with nano influencers to help them build their audiences to get to that micro stage so that they can start making money with other brands. And what we do is we partner with nano influencers primarily because it's a lot better trade-off in terms of what we have to offer them and what they have to offer us. And it's not going to break the bank like it is with like mega or celebrity influencers specifically.
Yeah, that's something that I definitely use as an approach. And when Chris and I, we talked about this before on one of the shows. It's just you can find a lot of influencers who they're small. They're in their startup phase. They're still trying to grow. And you get a bunch of those to talk about your product, and that can have a huge payoff. For sure.
I mean, it's absolutely massive. I mean, that could be a whole nother podcast we could do, because
to touch on that. Yeah. There was an influencer I showed Dustin the other day that she just promoted these like reflexology facial tools, and my wife was telling me about it. And I went to the listing, and I was looking at the BSR tracker, and it was pretty steady, and then it just dropped, and then that seller went out of stock. I was just imagining, like, if you're that seller, you're getting 10 units a day, 10, 20 units a day, and then boom, you sell 500. You're like, where the hell did that traffic come from? You have no idea. But that's the power of an influencer. Like, somebody just promoted her product or he or she's product, and boom, they sold out.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, I'm not saying that all influencers aren't worth being paid. Don't, because I do believe that people are worth being paid. But what I have experienced is that most of the time, influencers overvalue their worth. Most of the time, like financially is what I mean. So I'm going to be having more conversations with influencers on Clubhouse because it's a hot topic, and it's one of those things that people are trying to figure out now. I mean, obviously, it's a service that we offer, and so from a service provider standpoint, I want to do a better job of making sure that we're the best.
Absolutely. Well, this is fascinating. We have to get you back on because there's a whole bunch of rabbit holes we can go down here and different things we can go on. But this has been fascinating, especially for me and anybody else who hasn't done this in their business yet. Really tried to basically go outside of Amazon and really build an audience and build a brand from that. Super valuable. We really appreciate it. So again, before we go, how can someone get in contact with you? Just give them real quick again.
Yeah, I'll give you a really quick one. So it'll give you a template that you can download for ManyChat. Go to cmu.life/PPI. So it's Chat Marketing University, cmu.life/PPI. That stands for post-purchase insert. And what that'll do is it'll walk you through a ManyChat funnel that I've set up. It'll show you how we gather information so you can kind of see some of the ways that you can do that with your business. And then at the end, once you complete all those steps, it'll send you to a landing page that you can download the template and install it onto your ManyChat account. Now, full disclosure, you will need a ManyChat Pro account, which is only $10. If you can't afford $10, you probably shouldn't be in business. But it is only $10, and it is worth it. So there you go. Yeah, cmu.life/PPI. If you're looking to hire us, you can go to thechatagency.com.
That's awesome. I'm going to go do that right after this. I encourage everyone else to go do that right now as well. So we can see the flow that you put together. Paul, thanks so much for coming on. We'll get you back on again to talk about all these other things. But it's been an absolute blast. I know it's been great for everybody listening. So thanks again. And we'll be back at this again tomorrow, everybody. Have a great day.